Vince three-point shot.
It's a towering shot, baby.
The following is a production of the Rough Rider broadcast team, a presentation of Watlington and Shires Productions.
Rough Rider fans, welcome to Tuesday night at the pizzeria. It's the Rick Meeks Show, brought to you by Sabine Steak Bank. Tonight, some guests on the program. Tonight, Shelby County Sweethearts, the Chaparrals will be with us. Tonight, Rick Meeks is joined by Jackson Parker, sophomore linebacker, and Center Motor Company Player of the Game. We're going to look at the game last week against the Dangerville Tigers and look ahead to a long trip to the Eagle's Nest to visit the Canton team. It's the beginning of district. We're talking about it here with Coach Meeks from the pizzeria. The coach will be right back.
At Sabine State Bank.
Hey, will you come up here and just do this? 3, 2, and do that? We don't really need you to, but I think it's cool if someone will do it.
At Sabine State Bank, you have a lot of things going for you. It's a small...
Everybody, we just heard a really good joke on our television feeds. Welcome to the Rick Meeks Show. That's Coach Rick Meeks. That's Larry Pierce.
Hey, everybody.
Of KDET Radio. Coach, it's the games to this point have all been kind of unusual and noteworthy.
A lot of fun, it looks like, too.
Yeah. That's teenagers for you.
Every week there's some superlative. That's the most fill in the blank I've ever seen. It was pretty Hollywood last Friday.
It was the tale of two halves, for sure.
For sure.
It was an interesting Friday night.
I asked him during our post-game show out on the field what happened at halftime. 21 unanswered points that they scored, and we couldn't get on the board. Our high-powered offense was kind of still. And then at halftime, we shut them down. They never scored again. We scored 4 touchdowns. They do 3, we do 4. And I asked you, what was the difference? And at the time, you said just attitude
Correct.
And focus. Now that you've seen the film, you sticking with that?
Oh, 100%. It was 100% energy, 100% just us doing our job. And, when we weren't doing those things, they're executing, and we just kind of had a lackadaisical mindset, and we didn't play well. Kind of got that corrected at halftime and played a lot better. But energy was everything. But I will say too, the job standpoint is another one. We were trying to do somebody else's responsibility instead of doing ours, and now all of a sudden you have 2 people not doing theirs, and that's what creates the space in the front. And I mean, they ran the ball right at us whenever they wanted. Thankfully, they stuck to their game plan in keeping the ball away from us. If they wouldn't have done that, they would have got even further out from us, and I don't think we could have caught back up. So they had the mindset that they were going to keep it from us. They were going to run the 40-second clock down. They were going to use as much time as they could, and I mean, we only saw 3 possessions in the first half.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
and so, we didn't take advantage of those 3 possessions, and they just kept it from us. But like I said, thank goodness they stuck to that. So they were only away from us 21-0 at half, and that was that's a feasible task with the way we can score points. I will say I didn't get nervous until after the first possession after half. We come down and we turn it over. So
right.
That was a big possession for us. I felt like we had to have points there.
Yeah.
And then for us to move the ball down the field and then throw an interception on the goal line, I was thinking,
this may not be the day.
But defense shows up and they go 3 and out, and then we get that quick score on that next possession.
Is there any way to tell that my defense is about to fill in the blank, or are you just kind of like the rest of us along for the ride?
That's once again teenagers, right? But the biggest thing was when we did get that, the energy that started to transpire on the sidelines was back to what we've been used to all 3 weeks. But I just sometimes I don't get it. I mean, it's a game that we put a lot of time into, and sometimes it's hard for me to understand why they won't play with that emotion, because we can be very successful with that emotion. But if somebody can figure that out,
you're pretty much equally excited every game. I mean, there's not a whole lot of ups and downs in the grown-ups, but there are in the young people.
Correct.
As someone who watched it, you were doing your own game.
Yeah.
A million miles from home.
Yeah, I was way away from home. But yeah, I went back and checked it out too, Coach. And I was with you there in your possessions. I didn't really count how many it was there as I went back kind of checked it out. But to see you guys were behind in that first half, but still, Dangerfield, we knew, because we talked about it last week, how good of a team they are. And you told me, hey, wait a minute, we got to go down to play the guys, which we did. And they played it good, and they had a good game plan. And like you said, they stuck to it, and that's what good teams do. But, to have your defense, who you've been kind of saying, well, we've been giving up a lot of points. We've been giving up a lot of points. Yeah, but we're working on that. But to have them shut out that team in the second half, that's when you knew, that's whenever you had to tell you guys on Saturday, this is how we play defense.
Correct.
That's pretty much what y'all end up having to do.
And you're right. I mean, for us to shut them out the second half was huge, in a lot of different ways. One, it's how we ended up being able to win the game.
Right.
But two, a lot of those guys on that side of the ball now are starting to get comfortable. They're starting to trust their role and trust their responsibilities and just play.
Right.
And understand that, some of them that we've moved around and things like that, if they will just do their job, we have them in the best possible position for us to be successful.
Right.
And so they did that in the second half. And I think it was one of those, too, where if we continue to do what we were doing, then we're not going to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can make the decision to do what I've been coached to do, and let's see. And, that sparked a big kind of big jolt of confidence right there with those 11 guys. So.
And one thing I wanted to do real too, Coach, because I saw this, and it happens, and I know I played the game, you played the game, I know emotions are high. When you make a smack like late in the wood, late in the game there, and you want to be excited, but you got to turn around and be with your friend, your teammates, and that penalty, it could have really hurt. I didn't really see what happened there, because what Chris was trying to explain to me, it was actually advantageous, and I know, but I mean, you want to do that, but you got to turn around and go, because I mean, those things there, that could have, if it would have just been against us, it could have might have hurt. You
Absolutely, because we were fixing to have a big third down,
right?
And we got the dead ball unsportsmanlike, but thankfully they had a kid retaliate, and so they got one as well. So they offset. So the down stood. So we still ended up in that third down situation. But you're right, it could have been very detrimental, because if they still ended up converting the first down. But you think if they get that 15-yard penalty, they end up scoring.
Right.
We don't hold them out. So those 15 yards were more important than necessarily maybe the down, because, like I said, they still ended up converting on fourth down. But we still had a 15-yard buffer there. So
right. And it is emotional. I mean, believe I've been kicked out of games. I've known. If that's hard for anybody to believe, it has happened before in my past. Okay, but it is hard. But I mean, it was an awesome play, and and you want to be excited for the kids too. But that's the time where you got to kind of pull it back a little bit.
Correct.
But hey, it was a good thing. It was fortunate for us, and it worked out. But man, I tell you what, that was one heck of a smack. And,
it was.
It was a great play. It was a great play.
And just to go on the record, I have never ever been thrown out of a game, but it is a goal of mine, a personal goal. You had one shot?
Yeah, showers from the control booth. So, two questions.
He can pick it a bit.
Can you hear me, Coach? Okay. No, question number one, it seemed like defensively they were stacking the box and then relying on their guys to match up with our guys, because they had athletic guys, and so they were matching up with us in the secondary on the back end. That seemed to be their game plan, control by stacking the box. And it seems like in the first half, our passing game, Cash was a little off and our receivers were a little off. But it seems like Cash got it going with that big run and really kind of sparked the team. Do you agree with that?
I do. And, as good as Cash is, he's still human.
Yeah.
And he struggles every once in a while if early on his timing's off, and
but then in the second
a really
half,
good pass in the very first possession that I think we could have extended a little bit more and caught it.
Yeah.
When you go back and watch on film, we didn't fully extend, and it just went off our fingertips. And it was almost like that connection missing just kind of triggered his next few throws. And so we were short on the next couple. We threw a couple out of bounds. But you're right. Once he hit that long run on the quarterback run, then he was a complete.
And then he dropped the ball. That was an NFL level pass for the touchdown, the one in the back of the end zone.
Yes, sir. The one to TJ.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But if I can go back real quick, the reason why I wanted to bring up that point was because after I saw that, and I know you saw it on film, I saw his teammates and went up to talk to him and say, "Hey, man, excited, we got to pull you away. Let's go party over here." And you want that because your teammates were there for him and they talking, and that's what I thought was really cool about that. It happened, but his teammates were right there for him, saying, "Hey, man, we got you. Let's great. But your teammates were there, and that's what I like to see, Coach. And that's good coaching and good guys around each other and know each other.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, guys, it's the Rick Meeks Show, brought to you by Sabine State Bank, live from the pizzeria. And tonight we always have pepperoni because that's the Rick Meeks pizza. Hey, Shires, can you move the camera over and get a shot over here to our
They're
left?
all over there. They're all over that way.
That's
I don't know.
The Rick Meeks family.
The family's over there.
Is over there, and they're eating.
Man,
they too have pepperoni. I mean, it's a family thing, right?
Probably. We don't adventure out too much. We stick to the basics.
That's part of
basic stuff over there.
That's part of the plan is pepperoni. But
the premonition from the coach's son.
he sat. What's the yellow shirt?
Beckett.
Beckett sat right here last week. I said, "Beckett, who's going to win?" And he said, "We are." And I said, "What's the score going to be?" And he went, "It's going to be close." And then he looked over at his dad, and his dad was like, he doubts me. It was close, like an Old Testament prophet.
It was a good close game.
The pizza we have here today partly is pepperoni. It's also, we have a communism-looking pizza with jalapenos and Canadian bacon and pineapple. That's the Larry Pierce pizza, the LPP. Tell us about this.
Okay, well, it happened because my granddaughter and her mom are vegan, and so whenever we eat pizza, they eat pineapple and jalapenos on there. So whenever I'm with them, they allow me to put the Canadian bacon on there. So that's how we kind of come to the other. So it's kind of like from my granddaughter. That's kind of where that has come from. So that's it.
It's not communism. It's a sweet story about family.
It's a sweet story about my granddaughter and her pizza. That's right.
I feel really great right now. Our coach talk every night when we're at game or when we're here at the pizza place is brought to you by JBA Financial. We'll hear from them, and we'll be back with more of the Rick Meeks Show here in Pizzeria.
What sort of thing do you expect from a good coach like Rick Meeks? To prepare you, to make you ready for the game, to make sure that the good times outnumber the bad times, but that when bad times come, you can weather the storm. What do you expect from a good financial planner? Well, much the same thing, so that your family and you get across the finish line on top of the world. That's why JBA Financial sponsors our Coach Talk with Rick Meeks. JBA Financial and Rough Rider Football. Rough Rider Football is brought to you in part by McAdams Propane Company. Gas up your engines with McAdams. Joe's Car Spa. With Joe's, clean is easy. Yard Birds, the finest barbecue right at the city limit sign on Tenaha Highway. And Sandy Cox State Farm. Like a good neighbor, Sandy Cox is there on Tenaha Street.
Have you sustained a bone, joint, work, or sports injury? Problems with mobility or movement? Suffer with pain? Contact Azalea Orthopedics. Our specialists serve patients across East Texas. For proven, trusted medical care, you have a choice. Demand Azalea.
Welcome back, everybody. We want to say thank you, of course, to Sabine State Bank, who brings us this, our primary sponsor. It's at Pizzeria. It's brought to you by Sabine State Bank. Steve Waters and his whole staff, so good. And so eager to support the good things in the community. We appreciate that. And Center Motor Company brings us our player of the game Friday. This is something no one saw except for me. And Shires, I wish you could have been on the field. It made my week. I walk up to you. You're close to the band. They're playing the alma mater.
Yes, sir.
And I say, hey, come find me after this. You are our player of the game. What did you say?
I was just excited. Jumping up and down. It was just like a blur.
He was excited to be the player of the game. I didn't know that ever happened. And then after the conversation, you said, this is a conversation I've been looking forward to my whole career.
Since freshman year.
The post-game interview as player of the game made my day. Center Motor Company, Kevin Jones, it's pretty cool stuff. Okay, you had a very good game.
Yes, sir.
Would you – I mean, I never played football except for – I played a lot of football in the yard. But as far as people watching and at what point did you know I'm on tonight?
I just kept hearing that number called 23, and
that's my number.
Yeah, every time I heard it, it just made me want to go get it again and again.
Would you agree that you played and had more of an impact than you probably ever had before?
I wouldn't say that. I had a lot more statistical things better.
All right. Man, we called your name more, but
yeah,
it's not like you weren't playing any hard before.
Yeah, it's just I got more opportunities to hit the person with the ball. I think that's what it was.
How does that happen? I mean, were you scheming to where it kind of makes sense looking back that the person lining up in my position is going to be making plays tonight, or is it just kind of the way the ball bounces?
It's different every week. I think it's just how the other team sets up for our defense, and this week I just got lucky, I guess.
What did you tell us about did you tell the audience what position you play?
Yeah.
And what your general responsibilities are, and then
why to do that.
And then what happened that night that allowed you to be in a position to make so many big plays?
I play defensive end, and mainly I set the edge or take the B gap, and it was just coming towards me a lot, and I got to him a lot of the time, and happy I got the opportunities.
Okay, if you're watching this and you're not a football person, what does set the edge mean?
That means you go outside so you can make the runner go up the middle. You don't let him get outside of you.
Okay, fill in the B gap. What does that mean?
That means you close up the B gap between the guard and the tackle so he can't go there. He has to go somewhere else.
Okay. Now, for those of you that are football fans and understand the terminology, how do you know what determines when you're reading it, B or set the edge?
The linebackers tell me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they tell me what to do.
How do they know? What are they reading?
Coach Huff.
That dang Coach Huff.
Let me tell you from experience, playing defensive end is one of the most physically demanding positions because if the team is they're going to run outside, they have to get you blocked. They either have to get you logged in or kicked out. Okay. Otherwise, it garbles up. So you get tight ends, you get linemen, you get receivers coming, or in the old days, you get receivers coming down and cracking on you, or you get pulling linemen, or you get a running back or a fullback. They're all going to get, if they don't get you blocked, then the play is not going to work. And that's what happened a bunch of times. That's one of the reasons I wanted to pick you for player of the game, because there were a bunch of times you had an elite level athlete that's going to go play for my alma mater, and you were able to keep him from getting outside. And that was a huge deal.
Yeah, if you're not going to make the tackle, at least cut him up.
Yeah.
And you were there all night.
But I do want you to ask him about the final play, because he's the one that pressured Hampton to make him make the errant throw.
It's fourth down, and what's the down? Just fourth and goal at about the 6.
Yeah, it was close.
They're trailing with under 2 minutes, a touchdown behind, fourth down. You've had 3 downs and you've stopped them. Here's the play of the game. Talk us through it from the snap.
That whole set of downs, it was just like I had in my head, if I don't get to him, the game's over. So I had to get to him every time.
And the fourth play, I mean, you were on him before he had a chance to be aware of himself. How did that happen?
That's funny because I told the center, I said, I'm going to get by you before you even touch me this time.
You called that what?
I
After
told him.
third down?
I told him that. I said, this next time you ain't going to touch me.
Called a shot. I've never done that, but it is a goal of mine. I want to call my shot, make the tackle, and get a personal foul call. That's well, it's fun. As we send you out, this team feels special as you watch it. But, I mean, you have a better view of it than we do. Does it feel special to you?
Oh, it's real special. All these guys, most of them, Caden Dixon, Mason Mayo, we've all played together our whole life, and it just feels like it's like we're brothers. It's like this is what it was meant to be.
You can imagine in 10, 20 years seeing them, and it's like no time's passed. And
I could see me seeing Mason Mayo down the road and talking about this right here.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Yes, sir.
It's going to happen. That is our Center Motor Company player of the game from Friday. Jackson Parker, thank you for being with us.
Yes, sir.
Hope to have you again soon. When we come back, we have special guests from the Chaparral line. Well, actually, I think we have two of them, and then a cheerleader who's coming to support them. You'll never see her, but I appreciate it. We will hear now from Center Motor Company, who brings us our player of the game, and we'll be right back.
Galvin?
Are you an Ossifer?
No.
But you're a senior.
Yes.
You're graduating in 24.
Yes.
Okay. So everybody knows that chaparrals dance, and that's just about all we know. And I want to know what is like a week in the life of a chaparral. Talk us, quickly through Monday through game day. What do y'all do?
Monday we have practice.
At what time?
4:30 to 6.
And where do you practice now? Is it still in the cafeteria?
No, sir. The intermediate gym.
Okay. You have moved up
Yes,
uptown.
sir.
Okay.
And then Tuesdays we normally don't have practice. And then Wednesday we have practice. And then Thursday we do cuts.
Okay, wait. Did you hear that? We do cuts.
Yes, sir.
So it's pretty serious business. Tell me, what is a cut, Myra?
It's like you perform in front of the lieutenants, and they judge you based off like the routine of how you're gonna perform. And if you don't perform it good, then you get cut.
They cut you?
Yep.
She could
cuts.
cut you?
I could.
You ever cut her before?
Yes.
No, sir. No, I have not.
No, she has.
But that's got to be lots of pressure. I mean,
We're pretty easy on them. The
Okay.
majority of the time they don't need to be cut.
oh, okay.
And it's just you can get cut from the pep rally or the routine.
Oh, okay. Because pep rally is a different routine than the game most of the time? Or?
Sometimes. Last week it wasn't, but majority of the time it is.
So this past week, if you got cut for the pep rally, you were also getting cut for the game because it was the same thing.
Yep.
Yes, sir. But we didn't have to cut anybody.
That's pretty cool. And then there was a time there that they practiced occasionally on Sunday afternoon. Does that ever happen anymore?
No, sir.
I'm glad. Yeah, I always
glad
thought,
to.
come
I'm
on,
glad to.
that's craziness. I don't know if you knew this. This is the 50th year of the Chaparrals. You're what is that? Your golden anniversary? Now, that's the new Chaparrals when they called them the Chaparrals. I think there was a dance team in the 70s and early 60s for a few years, and then they disbanded. But they came back in 1983. And so this is a 50th year reunion. It's a pretty big deal, huh? You didn't even know that, did you? How old were you 50 years ago?
My mom's not even 50, so.
Her mom's not even 50. That's great. Well, all right. What do you consider, and I don't even know if you have, either of you can answer this, the highlight of your year? There were times in the 90s and the O's that a lot of them went to a contest and the winners got a chance to dance at parades. There was a Christmas recital or show. What would be what y'all build up to?
We don't really have one of those, but we do during our camp during the summer.
Okay.
Like the people that come and teach us.
Yeah.
If you get like a certain ribbon and then you get an All-American card, you can go and dance in different parades, like Macy's Day.
So you earn the parade trip in the summer
Yes,
before the year even starts. Wow. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of you earned that this year.
Yes, sir.
Did either of you get a chance to do that?
I got it, but I'm not going to.
You're not going to go?
No, sir.
What choices do you have? Could you have gone if you had decided to?
I don't remember what they were this year. I think one of them might have been Disney World.
That's
Thanks.
good.
It is good.
Is it just because it's just too much trouble, or because I can right now I can give you $20,
I think it might be a little bit more than that.
40.
You have to buy a whole new uniform, fly there, maybe drive. I don't know.
Well, that's awesome though that you got the chance.
Yes, sir.
So what's the dance going to be? There's no pep rally. What will you be doing in Canton? What kind of dance? Is it a palm routine or a jazz?
Palm or
Palm.
Palm?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Check them out. If you're not going all the way to Canton, you can watch them at halftime right here on this very same channel. It's brought to you by Deb's Boutique, and it is every week. Look forward to it. Thank you for dropping by, y'all.
Thank you.
Those are members of the Chaparrals. We want to say thank you to Fry's Food Truck. It's the new food truck in town. They're parked on White Cottage parking lot sometimes. Sometimes you find them on the Tractor Supply and on the weekends at Toledo Automotive. And it's fried food, but some of it is pretty out there. It's pretty experimental. It's really kind of cool. So it's called Fry's. It's the food truck. They bring you Rough Rider athletics all year long. When we come back, we'll get back to Rick Meeks because this is your show, and we'll talk about some of the other sports going on in Rough Rider land. Stick with us. We'll be right back here from the Pizzeria. It's brought to you by Sabine State Bank.
Gaddy's Medical Supply is your one-stop shop for all your medical supply needs.
Jack Allen, where's my ankle wrap stuff for my sore ankle?
Your ankle wrap or your Kinesio wrap?
The old guy wrap.
Ah, the ankle wrap. It's in the top bathroom drawer.
Okay, thanks.
If you are recovering from an illness or an injury, Gaddy's Medical Supply can offer you the support you'll need.
Jack Allen?
Yeah?
Where did I put the raised toilet seat?
Check behind the door.
Right.
From crutches to canes to chairs, Gaddy's Medical is there for you.
Behind which door?
The hall bathroom, Dad?
Okay.
Okay, take care of yourself or someone you love with Gaddy's Medical Supply.
Yes, not only am I looking for good insurance, but my grandson's making one of those rock and roll gospel albums. I was wondering if you could find me a good place for insurance and a place for him to record his project.
Fortunately, you just described Buster Bounds and Bounds Insurance Center.
Rough Rider Football is brought to you in part by McAdams Propane Company. Gas up your engines with McAdams. Joe's Car Spa. With Joe's, clean is easy. Yard Birds, the finest barbecue right at the city limit sign on Tenaha Highway. And Sandy Cox State Farm. Like a good neighbor, Sandy Cox is there on Tenaha Street.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back here to the Rick Meeks Show at the Pizzeria. I want to say a big thank you to Sabine State Bank. Also, a big thank you to Ace Hardware. I'll be headed to Ace Hardware tomorrow. I got to get some. I got an exercise bike I've been trying to get fixed up there. Brooks Brothers, also Covington Lumber as well. And so back here with Coach, and we're going to kind of update you on other programs and things that are going on. So, Coach, tell us a little bit about the freshmen, the JV football to start off there.
Yes, sir. All played really well last week. JV. Seventh grade, 8th grade, and JV all won against Dangerfield. So we had a good week all across the board last week with those guys. So they're progressing nicely. You know, big trip with our junior high to Canton Thursday, and then freshmen and JV will host them here on Thursday. So they all played well. So JV picked up their first win, and then like I said, the 7th and 8th grade. So the 8th grade moved to 2-0, 7th grade's 1-1, and the JV moves to 1-2. So.
Right.
A lot of really good things going on those three levels.
Well, sticking with football, how about the youth leagues? When are they getting underway here? I was trying to find that out before we got
They played
today.
Saturday.
Did they play
they
Saturday?
had games Saturday. Matter of fact, our 5th and 6th grade team we recognized before the game Friday night, coached by Jamie Jackson, and so we recognized those. I think it was 15 to 18 kids. So it was good to have them out there in front of the crowd and let them be out there on the sideline for a little while. But they started Saturday, so
that's good. Let's get out there and watch the youngsters out there playing. I know that we're in the midst of the district of the volleyball season, and Coach Spike has got things rocking and rolling out there. So how's the girls doing in our district so far?
So we're currently 0-2. We're hosting Henderson tonight. They're actually leading district, so we probably have our hands full with that one. But it'll ease up our next 3 to 4. On the games that we know are going to be very crucial to our playoff run, which we're right there in the middle of it. And we've played a couple district teams earlier in this season and in some tournaments and fared very well against them. So we're in a good spot. We just drew the top 3 teams first,
right?
In Spring Hill, Carthage, and now Henderson. So just gotta, stay focused on that and understand that the other games are coming. Team tennis is rolling. They actually play in Jacksonville tonight, so that's a non-district game, but we're still leading district there. And so cross country ran really well Friday at Pine Tree. They run again this Friday in Jacksonville, and they have district coming up on October 9th. So a lot of really good things going.
Right. And, too, Coach, a lot of people don't realize this, but, I know that they had in other states I've been in, but they have academic champions as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, your team, plus they have to be academically available to play ball and everything, too. But, I mean, that's another thing that these teams also strive for. These student athletes, they strive because they want that. And, I mean, that's an added, it's great to have a state championship, but an academic championship, that can go a long way, too. And these students are also fighting for that. And a lot of people don't know that those can happen.
Absolutely. That's, obviously a huge role in what we do. And, and we've got to stay on top of it because the other thing is no pass, no play in Texas. Right. So, if you don't pass, then you become academically ineligible for your extracurricular activity. So, we stay on top of our kids on their grades and making sure they're in tutorials and running grade checks often. And, we want them to succeed in things outside of athletics.
Right.
And but you are correct. That is a big deal. And, academic championships are huge.
Yeah. Yeah, and pass no play, I remember that back in, it happened to me my junior year, and that was one time, and I didn't want that. Boy, I haven't. And Coach don't like it whenever you're supposed to be playing and you're supposed to pass no play. You're going to do a little extra exercise out there.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Another thing, too, Coach, I know it hasn't been here in Texas, and, I'm originally from Texas and been up in Oklahoma and Kansas, and it's big there, but the wrestling programs are starting to be big. Is this something that centers even looked at, maybe having that possibility of a wrestling program? I think there's some kids that would really like that program.
It's not something that has, come up or crossed my desk or, anybody inquired about it. I will say my years in Henderson, we had a very successful wrestling program. Mm-hmm. We actually had a coach on staff who was originally from Nebraska, mm-hmm. and he's kind of the one that got in there and got it started and coached it. And Coach Cloutier did a phenomenal job with it. We were very successful. Did see the direct benefits to mm-hmm. the game of football. And so definitely is something that, we would look into.
Right.
But it is not something that has come up or anything like that with kids and interest yet. But, I think we would have some if it was something we were to do. It is not governed by UIL yet, I don't believe. It's still a
it's a school selection thing if they wanted to do something
yes, sir.
like that. Yeah.
Yes, sir. But, it's out there.
Right. Yeah, it could happen. And the girls' wrestling programs are getting big up in those states, too, so that could ever be a thing, too, there. That's really pretty good. So, but what sports coming up next? I mean, we got basketball that are lined up here, but after we get volleyball and tennis going, cross country and things like that, what are we looking to get the students into next onto that?
Next would be boys and girls basketball and then boys and girls soccer. Mm-hmm. Those are kind of the next ones up in terms of the UIL schedule. And then after that, once you come back from Christmas, everything kind of takes off with, you roll right back into spring tennis, golf, track, baseball, softball. You just end up with a lot of stuff then at that point. So
right. Well, just to touch on things real quick before we let you get out here, our soccer team last year was phenomenal. We followed them all the way through the playoffs and stuff last year, and they had a great run. Still looking like we may be able to run that again this year, I think. Right.
I agree. Same with the girls. The girls
mm-hmm.
made the playoffs for the first time. And Coach Latroche has a ton of her girls back, and they're I think going to have even more success this year. But she did a really good job with them. A lot of returners on the boys' side. Coach Martinez has done really good things over the last 2 to 3 years since I've been here, and then obviously prior. But it's historically very successful, and I know he's very excited. Both of them are very excited about the season coming up because of the returners that we have and the success we had last year with boys and girls soccer.
Right. All right, one final question before I let you go. Are we in the indoor facility yet?
They're hanging the last net.
Those nets are getting us every week.
I feel like each week it's the same answer, but the 2 that run off motors are complete. When we were at practice a little while ago, they were hanging the net that has the goalposts on it. That's the last net that has to go up. So
Nice, finally, huh?
Hopefully next Tuesday I can say, hey,
we're in there.
But who knows? There might be something I'm missing. But I know the Nets were the holdup for the longest because they were back ordered. But they're putting the third one up right now, and I think they had plans to finish it today. However long they had to stay up there because once again it's not on a motor. We just got to get it up to the top and anchored. So.
Right.
We're close to being in business.
There you go. Well, I tell you, that's great that the community and the school board was able to get that, and I know it'll be a great help and a great addition to the center school district there too. So
yes,
I know we're going to let you get out here. You got another show to go to, folks, Coach. But I want to say thank you to the Forge. The Forge is here to pump you up. Get by there to see the Forge and get there and get your workout on. Got all kinds of great things. That's at the Forge. McAdams Propane coming up. All kinds of good stuff. Back on the Rick Meeks Show from the pizzeria shortly.
McAdams Propane Company is your East Texas propane provider. Josh McAdams represents the third generation of a family that has kept clean, efficient propane running to facilities and farms of the area, as well as to the outdoor kitchens that make life fun. They also have the supplies that make an outdoor kitchen possible. Aware of the community, they have provided a luncheon for the first responders of our area. From the beautiful outdoor kitchen to the important fuel that keeps the engines running, keep your engine running with McAdams Propane in Center.
You know, I'm hungry. What is there to eat around these parts?
Well, this is Texas, so you're probably going to want some barbecue.
Barbecue, you say?
Yes, and the very best you can get's at Yardbirds. You just pull on up to the drive-thru window. When you get there, you tell them what you want. They got good stuff.
Do you think that would be good with some scones and a spot of tea?
No, you better leave that in your purse. Get you a beer or a soda pop.
Yardbirds, Tennehaw Street.
At Sabine State Bank, you have a lot of things going for you. It's a small office.
All right. You got me turned down?
No,
Oh, had me turned down.
See, Chris, you can't let him.
Can't let him do that. So the counselor Stephen Show is here with our final segment, I think, with the coach, and where we're going to do our question and answering. We're going to start doing that. We have a couple. We have a question, I think, in the audience. We also have received some questions via the text machine, as Chris Walton likes to say. One question we had from the text machine coach, the first one of the evening, is. As we transition into district, do you prepare differently at all?
You know, not extremely. We take a look. About the only thing we really take a look at from a weekly standpoint is the amount of time we're in the weight room during the week, to make sure we are as fresh as we can be Friday while still gaining strength throughout the season. Because the last thing we want is toward the end of the year coming completely out of the weight room and not being in the type of physical shape we need to be to play the game. As far as preparation and what practice looks like, it's the same. I mean, our practice structure is based around situations that we want to make sure we have covered for Friday, whether it's open field, third down, backed up, red zone, 2-minute, goal line, short yardage. All those things are set through the week and stay very consistent, unless something comes up that we can't control and have to push it to another day. But it's not. I mean, our end goal every week is to continue to take care of us and win the game come Friday. So the district games obviously mean more, but the way we prepare, we attack them all the same, wanting to be 10-0.
Oh, very good. So do we have?
This guy right here is Malcolm.
Okay, you probably need to turn the microphone on.
Oh, is it not on?
This is why I need to be back there, Walton. What? So, what is Malcolm's question? No.
The question is, talk about the team chemistry. We're well into the season, and it's looking good, but is everybody on both sides and the coaches is coming together the way you want for the rest of the year?
Yes, sir. You know, we're fighting through a few injuries, but other than that, I think everything is on track, and I think the way the second half went the other night kind of speaks for that. You know, and rightfully so. The first half might speak for that as well. You know, it was tale of two halves, but our kids really play very well together. They compete, and our coaches prepare the right way. Our kids prepare the right way. So I think, once we got the energy right the other night, everything took care of itself because they knew what to do. It's like I told Mr. Watlington after the game, we had a lot of that wanted to play the game. We just didn't have many that wanted to go win the game. We kind of just wanted to be out there and involved, and that's not a recipe for anything that's very successful. So, but I think we kind of learned our lesson. Hopefully, if not, we're going to be in for another long one Friday, along with a long bus ride. So, I think they're starting to truly understand the importance of practice and preparation, and we've got to have the Friday night mindset Monday through Thursday as well. So, we're on track there.
I have a question
from the internet from a fan named Jody. Your defense is obviously getting better. On your reaction, how much better is it?
I think we're starting to understand situational football a lot better. We're starting to understand our role, and kind of like when Jackson was talking a little while ago, our two inside backers are extremely important in terms of communication. They get everything from the sideline from the coach that's signaling, which is actually from Coach Huffstetler from the box, getting the calls in, but they've got to be able to understand and see the signal fast so they can communicate it quickly, speak loud, and that's where we struggled early on. But we're getting better about that, and so much defensively is predicated off of formations. And so they might have a call, and within that call there's 3 or 4 different things they could say to the defensive lineman, and they've got to see the formation. And so both of them being 10th graders, you go from freshman football to Friday night football. I mean, not even JV to Friday night. I mean, freshman to Friday night is huge difference. And just everything, atmosphere, speed, everything. And so that's taken a little bit. But those two are starting to play with a lot more confidence, which in return the other 9 are playing with a lot more confidence because they're getting the call. So that's big that they're starting to get that. And it's just communication.
Well, piggybacking off of that, it's kind of my question I've had. No, we returned a lot of starters on offense, but on defense, didn't we only return like 3 starters?
Our 3 defensive linemen.
Right. So you got guys, you got the guys that played freshman football the year before, but you also have other guys that didn't start, the other, so 3 and 2, so other 6. And I wonder how much of it is just getting used to the speed and getting used to of all the crowd and all of that.
Right. It's
and a lot
because coming in off that, you know yourself coming in there, your eyes get so big because the speed of the game is just like it's just coming at you so fast, and it takes so long, 3 or 4 weeks to finally adjust to get that speed down. It just that adjustment period for those kids.
Yep. Every bit of that takes a little bit, and once again, they've all got it used to playing together, and then think about, we talked about this 2 weekends ago, but just kids now don't communicate. Mm-hmm. They text.
Right, there's no time to put it on your phone.
Yeah. They don't stand up in front of the class anymore and do speeches. I mean, they text. Or if it's the same thing why emotion is so big. Like if they're looking on their phone and they see something they like, they just hit the heart and they move on to the next picture.
Yep.
Like they don't express any type of emotion. Mm-hmm. And so we've completely taking that away. So making them open their mouth and talk and show emotion to each other when things go good, believe it or not, is hard.
Yep.
Like that is a hard thing now to do with teenagers, and it's only going to get harder as more technology is put in front of them. So anyway, it's
get them out on the field, get the team spirit going, the camaraderie, and
right.
Hopefully that'll break it out of them.
They don't all leave anymore and come here like this and hang out or go to somebody's house. They're going to get on the game and put on a headset and talk to each other that way and play the game. So it's just it's a different dynamic than when we all played.
Yeah.
And trying to get them out of that is what makes things challenging.
Right. We had the old Thursday night pasta dinner at the quarterback's house, had all the linemen over.
That's right.
Well, Coach, it really is about time to get you out the door. So we have one final question, and that's what was there to smile about? Brought to you by Wyndham Family Dental. What is there to smile about from as we are in week 5?
Well, I think
the W.
Right. Yeah, we're definitely going to smile about the W. But I do think just how everything transpired in the second half Friday night. And I know a lot of times this, y'all aren't necessarily wanting football related on this, but I think just showing the growth of the team in that scenario. 2 years ago for sure when I got here, even probably last year, I don't know if we come back from that. I don't know if our kids would have really truly dug down, showed true grit, trusted their teammates, trusted us, and found a way to win the game. And so the fact that we did do that with everything that went wrong in the first half, with everything that went wrong with the first possession after halftime, for us to still find a way, I still think speaks very, very high volume with our kids and their character and the way they're going to play the game. And so, that's what they did over the last quarter and a half Friday night is going to help us win a game in the near future. And we'll really smile about it at that point.
Yeah. And I think it starts with the top with your guys. And, again, like I said, I felt like Cash didn't have his best first half.
Right.
But the guy that started it, that got us going was Cash.
Yes, sir.
And then I saw the interview on the Friday night football thing with Dixon where he just said, nobody was going to stop him from scoring that last touchdown.
Correct.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it was bound to happen. I mean, he's been running so well, and he still ended up with right at 200 yards rushing. It didn't seem like the Friday nights prior, but it was just a matter of time before we got him in the open field, and he was going to put the exclamation point on the game, and that's what he did.
There you go.
All right, well,
great
Coach.
Win, though. That was a great win.
Right.
Yes,
another fine Rick Meeks coaching show this evening in the books.
Well, we still got one left. We're going to be right back. Oh, we're going to be right back.
We got
That coach got to get out of
here.
here.
Yeah, that's right. We got to go.
Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week.
All right.
Good luck.
Hey, excuse me?
Hey, my mouth was hurts.
What?
My tubes in my mouth.
Oh, you have a toothache.
Yes, a tubes ache.
Well, you need to take that toothache to Wyndham Family Dental. If it can be done in a big city practice, it can be done at Wyndham Family Dental.
Oh, well, thanks very much.
All right, everybody. Thank you to Sabine State Bank for this show. I mean, I don't think we're doing it if Steve doesn't say, yeah, we want to be a part of that. So thanks a lot. And Pizzeria for hosting us. And, I mean, the slideshow back there. And they move the tables, and then there's the pizza, too.
We don't have to do nothing. We just come in and sit down and set up, and we're good, man. They take
It
care
is.
of us, man.
Larry, where will Don Wall be this weekend? What game will he be in?
Big game in Shelbyville and Joaquin going on this Friday night. And they will be in Shelbyville on 100.5. 6:50 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff, 100.5.
Super. And be sure to listen to Don Wall in probably 90 seconds. If you didn't hear enough of what Coach Meeks had to say,
he'll be
over there on
shortly.
100.5 FM. He's 3 doors down. Larry, where will you be on Friday?
Well, I got invited to go do a game in Canton. So, I may go down there because I did go to San Augustine. The Wolves got the week off after that long trip to Anuak last week. And Anuak. That was a beautiful facility, great place. But, I don't know. I'm thinking about heading out to to Canton with you guys and hanging out if that's okay. Maybe. Either that or I'm going to stay home and watch football.
We want you to. The referees, be ready.
Be
He's
ready,
coming.
Ref. Here I come. That's right.
And Shires, what time we leaving?
Oh, about 6 in the morning on Friday.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah,
or either that or going down the night before.
Yeah, we're going on horseback, so we got to start early.
Wagon? What are we doing here? Going on the Oregon Trail?
Well, looking forward to that, both of you. Hope you enjoyed the Rick Meeks Show live from the Pizzeria, brought to you by Sabine State Bank. Thank you to Jackson Parker. I forgot to ask Coach to bring Jackson. Did you know that?
Yeah, Coach had to text him real quick.
He texted him in between commercials. He texted him, and
Chris
literally
puts all this together, folks,
3 minutes later, Jackson walks in. I don't think he ever gets very far away from Coach. That was pretty neat. And our chaperones, thanks you for them joining us as well. Big thank you to Steve Waters at Sabine State Bank. Be sure to join us at Friday, 7 o'clock, for the Cornerstone Therapy pregame show. From Canton, we'll visit with Rick and the JBA Financial Coach Talk segment. Gaddy's Cheerleader Spotlight shines on Julie Bird and Carson Crouch. At least that's the plan. Halftime Borders Poultry brings you up close and
Rough
personal
Rider
to shine on
fans,
the ladies
welcome
that
to
were
Tuesday
here
night
tonight. And, of course, Bounds Insurance brings you Shelby County Sweethearts, the Chaparrals, and Deb's Boutique, the pride of Shelby County. The high school band is doing their own cuts. You heard the Chaparrals talking about cutting. This will be the first time that they are marching with what will probably be their contest group and contest drill. So looking forward to that. Stay with us through the Wiggins Farms post game. We'll talk to the Dairy Queen play of the game. We'll talk about that, and to the Center Motor Company player of the game. Wallington Shires Productions brings it all to you on NETSN Live on the channel you're watching here now, or on 9:30 a.m. on your radios. Until Friday, then, for the counselor, Stephen Shires, for Larry, come on, ref, Pierce, and Rick, the athletic director, Meeks, I'm Chris Wallington. See you next week from the Pizzeria.
See ya.